Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, November 30th. Be doing a little bit of a scalping session here and just kind of recording it for you to watch. It is past the first hour of the day. It's not typically when I like to trade. I usually trade the open, as you know, but I had to take my son to the doctor this morning. He wasn't feeling well. I had to get him checked out. Now that I'm back, it's just past 10:30, and I'm going to try to build a day here for about 30 minutes or so. And I thought I would record it and kind of talk you through what I'm trying to see and what I'm trying to do here without taking live questions. That way I can just kind of, I guess what I'm gonna try to do is just talk through my thought process as much as I can. So when I'm doing a trade, what I see, what I'm thinking, try to articulate that a little bit more. Right here we have Lulu narrow range bar. I can play this with about a 10-cent risk, and I should be able to get 20-cent gain on this right here. So we're gonna do a trade on Lulu over the top of this high right here, and we'll put a stop under the low of the whole number. And so we got about a 10-cent risk. We'll see if we can catch a 20-cent gain back to prior day's close. It's just a narrow bar play, right? Had a nice run up here, huge drop, hit support. I don't expect a huge recovery, but I'm not looking for that. If I can get a simple 2-to-1 move right there, we'll be good on that trade. So we're going to try that one. And that was the first thing that I saw, and it wasn't off of a scanner or a watch list or anything like that, just so you know. It's just off charts. Right? I have a ton of thumbnail charts up, and when my platform comes up, that's the first thing I do is just kind of scan through charts and see if anything, from the narrow range bar side of things just jumps out at me. This looks like it's missing some. There we go. We'll refresh some of these charts here. Facebook, not much of a play there. Yeah, I'm having a data refresh here issue. I don't know what's going on, but some of these charts I'm seeing that you guys aren't seeing on screen, but I'm seeing them off screen, and I take a look at them, and they're showing me some different data here that I should be seeing. Same thing here, and the reason I'm looking at the counter trend, right, is the market. Market had a little gap up, filled the gap off prior day's close, and now we're rallying back above, um, back above our 5 and a 200 here held. Our whole number held off prior day's close, and we're getting back over that 200. So I think the bearishness has subsided for the moment. It didn't get trapped under the 200. It's kind of pushing through here a little bit. So I feel like we are going to get a little bit of an up move. Maybe not a full recovery kind of an up move, but enough to play some of these counter moves. All right, so Lulu, as I'll keep the 1 minute on up here. I'm not necessarily going to trade off of that, but I'll keep it on so you can see entries and exits. All right, so this is a point where I told you we would have a 10-cent risk. We were going underneath that high there, and we're looking for a 20-cent gain, right? So at this point, we made a move up almost 10 cents. The high of that green bar right there, you can see it, was at 16. So we're just shy of that first 10 cents. So I'm already starting to cut that risk in my head. Not going to let it stop out under the whole number at this point. It'd be pretty close to break even mentally. There's a little bit of a spread on Lulu, so I got to be careful I don't jump the gun on getting out. But I'm already thinking that if that's all it's going to do, and that 8 MA is going to catch us here, and when this closes out, that 8 MA is, see that? So the 8 MA is catching us right now, and it's knocking it back a little bit. So if we get another tick or two down, we're going to kill that trade, and be like a penny or two loss instead of an all-out loss. We'll lose about half. All right, so got to keep it tight, tight risk. And if it does stop out and holds a narrow bar, then we're to break back over the 8. I'd revisit that as another small bar option and just play it higher from there. Okay. All right, let's see. Gold here looks like it wants to. That's a nice clean bar on gold. I like that. I don't like that I don't have a lot of distance to the 8 right here. So I'm going to wait and see. Maybe we get a ribby in the next 5 minutes, and if that happens and that 20 catches up and then we pop through that, we could look for gold and maybe have a little bit of reversal. What else is going on here? Financials look kind of sideways. Oil had a gap up and seems to be holding. It doesn't really look like a fade opportunity right here. You know, I'm looking at NOV, looking at HAL. They don't look like they're shorts. A little bit far away from the 20s to try to play long off that much of a gap. So we kind of have a gap in like a hold scenario, right, where it's not doing much. So a little early to play those. VRX here, nice reversal bar on VRX. 8MA is a little tight, right? I don't want to play right into the face of that. So I'll let that come up a little bit, see if it slides by the 8. And again, if I get a tight enough risk reward, I certainly play to the upside on that one. And it's not, as you got to be careful on these. Remember, it's not a climactic move. Okay, it came out of a sideways move, so it looks far from the 20, but it's not climactic. I'm just looking at the opportunity for a little retracement, and if I can get a 2-to-1 move, right, without needing huge retracement, then it's worth a look at a counter move. But it's not because it's a climactic drop. This is the mistake a lot of people make. There's a lot of bars in here that covered very little ground. If you look at all these lows, they're almost equal lows. So if I back this chart up and show you, look, that's support right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5 bar. That's 30 minutes of testing support, and then you poke through it. So, you know, the reversal now is going to jam up against that, which is the same reason I want to be past that. I want to be past the 8MA. If we can get past that, then I can look for the little reversal to continue. But I'm not going to buy right into the face of all that support. It's not really a climactic decline. You can see that nice reversal bar here on the 1. Look at it on a 2. It's kind of jammed up in there too. So we need to be past this 8, preferably over that 90 mark, getting back towards 95, almost to 16, and then we can look for a little 20-30 cent pop with a 10-cent stop. Okay, so that's one that I'll just be scouting out. Not necessarily going to play it right this second. Market itself. You know, if it pulls back again and holds on the 200 and then tries a second move over the top, or if it goes sideways a bit here and then breaks over the top, you know, we could look to play a little bit of a rally here, maybe get 20-30 cents up. With that risk in there would be maybe 10 to 15. So, you know, potential move would be setting up there as well. See how it says oil move over the top. There's not a lot of resistance here on HAL, right? So we could play this bar right here. The low of this is 40, so we're at 40 by 65 playing that 5-minute bar. You see that 38.60, say about 20 cents. So that means we got to get to 90, or at least we got to at least challenge 53. It's kind of a 15-minute ribby play. That's not bad, and I could even tighten that stop a little bit more and use half that bar. All right, so we can give that a shot. Right, taking out the high here, maybe we catch it right at the right time, use 50 as the stop, cut it to 15 cents. Now if we get a 30-cent run, we get a nice 2 for 1 on our money here. Sorry, here's the entry, as you can see. Okay. Lulu, again, it's taken 4 bars, right, and we're not getting the follow through here, so we're clearly going to cut this thing off at the knees, right? If it even hiccups down towards our entry price, we're just going to bail on it, right? It's had 4 bars to go. This is the red bar ignored right here. So if it takes out this low at 04, you know, we're not going to wait to get stopped down into the whole number, right? So I'm going to lose about 2 cents on this if it gets to 04. So if it breaks this red bar and triggers the sell, I'll be out, and it'll cost me 2 pennies instead of 10, right? And there it is. You see it, and that's enough. There's no time to waste. You just bail. It didn't work. We're out. See it? Gone. So it cost me 2 pennies. So original risk was 10. Didn't work. Not waiting. Cut it to a 2-cent loss, and you move on. Now, if this holds right here and does not trade under the whole number, I'm not willing to lose because it's counter trend. I'm not willing to hold for a full loss to see. If it does fail to trigger sell and turns and breaks that high, I'm going to replay it over that high, okay, and do it again. It'll be another 10-cent trade, 15 by 5. And we'll see if we can get up there to 30 or 40 and get the same 2-to-1 trade, okay? So that'll be a possible secondary trade if that shows up. But I'm not willing to hold at this point. And the spread on this, you know, when I encourage you guys to trade, I want you to stay within 1 to 2 cents. This is a little bit more of a spread. was a decent narrow bar look, and I can capture liquidity, so it's not as bad for me. But I don't want you guys doing 5-cent spreads like this because I think it's a problem. Trying to make up the money when when you're fighting the spread as it is, it's hard because you don't get to give it as much room as you should. You kind of got to let that. If it drops 4 or 5 cents, like, well, that was just somebody hitting the bid on the spread. So now what? Do we really take it off? Do we not? All right, played how with that super tight stop right at 50. You can see right here, just came back through 50, no hesitation, cut it loose. All right, so it didn't go right away. We're not going to take a loss underneath that bar, just out. All right, so the first two, and again, it's 10:30, not my favorite time to trade, but the first two bars, small losses. Here's VRX failing, guys. So I think there's more downside. So taking out that 5-minute bar, we're going to short this, right? We're going to short it at 50, stop at 25 initially, and then we'll look to add to this thing if it goes our way. All right. So remember, this was consolidation here. I wanted to see it get over 16. It basically put in a sell setup off the 8. So continuation here is very possible. There's nothing on the daily. I don't feel like we're late on the trend because there's a ton of support right there, right? That rested for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30 minutes of rest and then dropped through, try to rally, got rejected. Now it's making new lows, right? That big green bar just got taken out. So we play with a 25-cent risk to start, which would basically be coming all the way back up here yet again, right? And if that happens, we'll get out of that, look for it to break the 8, and then at that point we should get the reversal. Keep looking through here to see what else we got going. Just kind of scanning my thumbnails right now. We drop through 40, I'm going to hit it again on a short. Right. So we take out the low, it was 43. I got short just under 50. If we break through the low and crack that whole number, I'm going to hit it again, figuring we're going to get a little follow through. So here we go. So we like to see. So we like to see. So we like to see. So we like to see right there. All right, it's hanging up a little bit, so we're going to take some off, right? That little add that I did, it's all based on risk reward, right? So we're going to try to take some off right there. So we shorted once, hit it again, got the nice drop. Remember, originally we said we're going to short under 50 with a 25-cent stop. We added again and then got to our target at 25. So we got a 1-to-1 trade, but it was better than 1-to-1 because we added quickly underneath that low, just a little 5 cents down, hit it again. So now the move to 25 pays better, right? And all that was just shorting a little 1-minute GBI there after the fact, right? The initial short was because that 5-minute got rejected, broke the low. That was the initial short. Then it turned into 1-minute GBI. We're going to hit it again. Now if it rallies back up through, right? If it comes back up through 50, we'll have to take the rest of the trade off. But at least we got paid at our target, and we got paid a little bit more than we not than we should have, but a little more paid than we originally anticipated because we hit that thing again, right going into our target. Coming back. All right, there's 50. Whoops, staying wrong buttons. So even that, I hit the wrong key. So it happens to the best of us. All right, so that's it. It's done, oversold a little bit, just had to cover it. So now we're flat. All right, when I mean oversold, where you're trying to bail out of a position, right? If you got, say, 1,000 shares left and you're on 100 on your hotkey, and you're just like hitting the bid, just like trying to get out, and then all of a sudden you go over, right? And you're like, oh shoot, now I'm short 100, and then you just cover it, right? But it's better to shoot over a little bit to get out of that thing than it is to try to count like, okay, 1, 2 sells, 3 sells. I don't do it like that. I'm just getting out as fast as I can. Sometimes I hit the key a little too many times, no big deal, just turn and just cover it. Right? What is it costing me to do that? 6 cents a 100, right? So if I miss 300 shares and give up 18 cents in commission and maybe $3-4 in slippage, so what? Right? I'm trying to get flat before it goes against me. All right, so that was, that I wanted it to go a little bit better. I was hoping to get to 15, but I got a 1-to-1 target, and again, capitalized on it because we did the quick add on the GBI, so it paid a little bit better than 1-to-1. Now we got to leave it alone for a bit and see if it is going to make a rally or if it's going to get stuck here. The AMA comes down again. We may go back and play that short one more time. But let's see here what we're doing with Lulu. Remember I told you to get out of this thing quickly, right? We want to get out before we take the full stop. Okay, and this thing is now, you can see, right? We would have been stopped out for the full loss because it just kept coming down. So the counter move, it was 3 bars up. Remember, it looked good here when I first logged in, and I'll take that. That's a 2-to-1 to prior day's close. I'm good with that. But after 3 bars, we haven't gone very far. Then we get that small bar. That's it. It's time to get out. Right? 15 minutes now showing a potential GBI here. Right? Hourly's got a little support underneath it, so I don't really want to play that GBI short. But that's the reason for not sitting there and watching. It didn't need to stay in that long, right? We gave it plenty of time. It didn't produce. So at that point, we cut it loose before it stops us out. Plain and simple. How managed to work, right? Say I took the quick stop because I didn't like the way it was doing it. Managed to work and still going back to that original high. I think at this point, I don't want to play the tick in high. I think I want to see a decent bar kind of come out of that stuff. We're getting close to 11 o'clock. I want to see a decent bar do something before I try to get back into that. Let's see what else here. I can't really find the next best trade. Again, market's not really tearing it up right now, so this is kind of trying to manufacture some money. This is what I call work, right? The first hour you get the volatility, it's a lot easier. This is a little bit harder trying to make the trades happen when the market slows down a bit. So gotta be a little more patient here. TSN, I like this higher low pattern right here, right? I don't have room. The 20's coming upon us. There's the prior pivot high right there. So I like the higher low for the counter move. I don't like that I don't have the space, right, uninterrupted. So on something like this, I would wait it out, let that 20 come up, and then see if we can close over 58, close past that whole number, and then look for a little bit of a bounce. And maybe we get 25, 30 cents, and we should be able to find like a 10-cent stop in there to take a look at it. Right. So keep that on the radar as well. Go back to our VRX. Okay, so not a great narrow bar, just kind of a green bar in there. And again, I think that 8MA's got to come down on top of this. And we got to see if we can get the slide, if we can slide by that 8, and get back above that prior sell right there. We take that high out. I think then it will get the follow through, right? Because that was a failure to go lower moment. We just happened to time it right at the bottom there to get out at our target. And if this does start to hold a little bit of a catch, it starts to work back up over 75, and I think it makes the move to the 20. All right, we can try that idea again. 15-minute chart starting to look pretty nice here with a tail. 5 minutes to go to 11 o'clock. Okay. So potential, we're going to get a potential little counter move here. It's not going to go for the grand slam. I don't think we're getting 100% retracement way up here. I just think if we can get past 75 and past that 8, we at least challenge that whole number maybe better. So Again, 25 cents on 25 is only 1-to-1. I'd like to get at least 2-to-1. So maybe we get lucky and we'll get a narrow bar that happens right there as it breaks through. Maybe we can catch it with like a 5 to 7 cent bar. And then our 25-cent target would be great. Almost 11 here. So we've been at this for about 20 minutes here, and again, nothing's picking up too much. Once we get to 11, it's going to slow even more. So this may or may not materialize as a last trade. Hell's working out after all here. So here's a good example, right? Took that stop early. That's a better bar. You see that ribby right there? And that's a nice bar. I like that right there. Right? It's kind of what I was hoping was going to happen on my first entry, and that's what I wanted to happen. So when I didn't get it, I just got out of there, right? But that's the move I wanted. If you played the ribby, this is where I would go break even right now. And now we're going to get the challenge of the whole number. So again, the idea was right, the concept was right. It was just a little early with the timing. Maybe a little tight with that stop, but it is what it is. It's going to happen. You're going to get stopped out sometimes right before the move, and there's nothing you can do about it. No way to fix that, right? That's the grail quest. When you think, well, if I just did this, I would be in that trade. If I just did that, I wouldn't miss that trade. But then what's going to happen is on the other side, you're going to start taking bigger losses. So it's going to even out. Right, you can't second guess something that works. Once you find something that works the majority of the time, you stick with it, you repeat it, and you just accept that you cannot be right on every trade. It's impossible. Interesting bar right here on Goldman Sachs, guys. Right, if it gets, that's a nice little narrow bar. If that gets back through the 8 here, there's a chance we could test 220. And I could play this with like a 30-cent stop and go for a 60-cent move. Let's see if it's going to close over that. All right, this bar is going to close right now. Well, we got 45 seconds to go. That high is 36. So we can get over 40. I think we got a shot at a 60-cent move. Played on a 20-cent stop. All right, and if it gets rejected here by the 8 and starts to trade lower, that 20 MA is going to jump up a bit when this bar closes. There's not going to be a whole lot of room in there to short that as a trap play. So then for the breakdown play, you have to wait another 1 or 2 bars, let that 20 get a little closer. And if we fail on the pivot and the 20, then you can start looking for a pullback. Right? You can look at this as the catch, as the trap, the hooking 8. If it pins in there, if it fights back through it, then I think we retest 220. All right, BRX is going to make that little move, I think. All right, so we're getting through that 8 right now, so we're going to try this. A little early on it, but I got a good, I got good entry here, right as we're going through the 8. Okay, stop under 50, so it's about 20 cents of risk. If we get to the whole number and then go test that 20, and I'm going to cut this risk like quickly, right? So it's 20 cents, barring this thing just dies right now and just fails off that 8 and starts crashing and burning. Every 1 minute that goes by, the stop is going to get cut quicker and quicker. All right, so yes, it's a 20-cent risk, but not for, all I'm trying to do is survive the instant failure. So there we go. I've already cut the risk in my head. The low of that bar is 60, so I've already cut it to 10 cents. All right, that quickly. So it was just a 20-cent disaster stop. but we've already cut it to 10 cents. Okay, so that poke through bar that was poking through the 8. I didn't wait for it to really close and and get going up here over 75 like I originally wanted. Felt like I had it on the 2, was breaking the pivot, was coming through. Wanted to get that entry early in there, and felt like I had the turn going. And now we can go challenge 16. Okay, so I think we're in good shape with that. Goldman Sachs is getting hooked. All right, so the 8 MA is hooking on Goldman. Let's go back to Goldie for a minute. 8 MA is hooking on that, right? So we didn't break through the upside. So now the issue is, well, then why don't you just short the failure? Well, it's not really a failure yet until that pivot breaks, right? The 8 MA broke, it bounced, has to get trapped and now take out this low. If it takes out this low and the 20, then it's a failure, right? But right now, trying to short that, you don't. It's a tough play right here because you haven't really seen it fail. It's potentially going to get hooked, but it's so strong on the daily, right? The hourly, everything else is showing a lot of strength. So I don't think I want to go against that. All right, BRX doing well, guys. So now we're trailed up to break even at this point. So again, I'm not losing on this trade now. It's a free ride. We're either going to hit targets and make money, or we're going to lose nothing. That's how fast I'm getting there. It's proven itself through the 8. It's a good push. Here's where the resistance happened last time. So if it happens again and starts drifting and failing back, and that was kind of the reason for wanting to get that entry. I wanted to go challenge. I wanted to be in with some room to go challenge it. If we wait till we get there and then start breaking through, there wasn't going to be a lot of room left to go up here. We were going to be stuck at a true one-to-one scenario, which on a counter move is not great. So it presented an opportunity to try to get a little bit better of a reward, and in a valid way, not just because I wanted it to be. I didn't just say, oh, well, I just want to make a small risk. The pattern set up well right here to try this. Okay, the timing was right, the bar was right, everything lined up, so we gave it a shot. And the 15-minute looks great, right? It's a nice strong bottoming tail. There's plenty of room to rally back on the 15-minute chart. Okay, but we're already at break even, so it's a free trade at this point. Can't lose. Those are my favorite trades. You can't lose. You don't even have to watch them. Right? You can just set your hard stop and not worry about it. And if they stop out, they stop out. Okay, and right as I say it, it happens. Let me go back and show you. There it is. Right as I just say that whole thing, it comes down and fails. And that's a perfect example, right? Called a penny of slippage. That's a beautiful thing. So the initial risk is 20 cents. I lost a penny. I can do trades like that all day long and make money, right? All right, Nugget. Let's see, little life and gold here. Not a lot of range in this thing today, though. I just saw gold flash a little red, but the range is so small, the bar looked bigger than it was. It's past 11, so let's see. Maybe we're going to get one more trade off here. Maybe this Goldie is going to do what I want it to do here. We'll get one more shot at this. All right, if it can punch up through that 8, that 20's coming up. So I'll sit through and see if we get one more good trade off here. The high of this is 36, so I'm going to make it trade 40. We'll go for 220 with a 20-cent stop. So we'll go for 60 cents, and we'll use a 20-cent. It's going to be 4. It's going to be under that bar right there. That's 10, so it's going to have to be 30. So 40 for 30 with the trend. That's not bad. I prefer to, I'm sorry, 60 for 30. It's a 2-to-1 with the trend. So here we go. Stop underneath that, underneath 10. Okay. So this will be probably be our last trade here. We're past 11. And that 20 is going to come up and try to support it. 15 daily, hourly, everything looks pretty clean. to the upside, so I don't really want to short against it. And if it does get trapped, right, if it does fail, it's got to fail under the pivot, not just under the 8 at this point. We're too close here. We don't have any room to be shorting that. It would be a very aggressive short. You'd just be kind of betting it's going to hold there because it hasn't really turned over yet. It's got the early look, and if it pops through here, it's going to run, right? Because a lot of people right now that are long, they're not panicked yet. They haven't lost their pivot trail. The 20's catching up. So the bulls feel pretty good in this trade. Bears would be a little aggressive, and the first sign it's failing, they're going to cover quick, and that thing should shoot up to 220 for us. BRX working out after getting stopped out. Another good example, as I want you to see these, right? These are important. Right? So too many times in the room, people are like, oh God, you're never wrong. You're never wrong. This happens a lot. But what it is the losses are super small for me. They're super tight. And yeah, I get dinged out sometimes. It happens, but I never take big hits. That's the reason. So let's say that didn't get dinged out right there. At this point, it's the same mentality, right? On that surge, the high of that surge got up to 90, so I definitely would have been break even, right? We played it with a 20-cent initial stop and then instantly cut it to 10, and we had a 20-cent gain right there. So we did hit a 1-to-1 target, right? We did hit the 1-to-1 target after it got stopped out. All right, let's take a look at this. Here's Goldie, right? We're getting the pop. I think we're going to get the move to 220. So I'm already break even. Right? Why break even? Because we're better than 1-to-1 on the move. So we're already break even. Holding for the bigger target here. Didn't take any off at 1-to-1. Holding for the bigger move. It's a good sign right there. See that little pause on the 1? Good sign. Little ribby right there. If that thing can pop the high, it should get the little spurt and take us to target. Right, and I got a nice clean bar right there after follow through. So break evens is not only for my strategy, the way I trail, but now technically it looks good because that's a good break bar right there. That 1 minute popped out of that base. That should not get erased. I don't mind the pause and the little wiggle here, but we should not come all the way back down and take out that bar. Right, 5 looks good. It's through the 8. Market getting a little pop here too. This should help. This should take us up to target. Here we go, boys and girls. Here we go. All right, got some out there in the mid 90s. Coming in the target. Come on. Come on. Okay, we're just about there here. We're right up to target. So we're at that whole number. Guys, getting some more fills here. Okay, and now we'll let the rest of it trail. Let's see if we can challenge high of day. Okay, so the trade worked out. There we go. There we go. That looks pretty nice, huh? That looks pretty tasty. So it's not bad. 60 cents on 30. It's a solid 2-to-1. We got it locked in here. Not giving it back. Maybe we get up and test that high of day, but it's a little bit of a spread here. If it drops back under, I just got to lock it in. Right? I can't lose the 2-to-1 moment here, especially time of day. It's almost 11:15. We're just shy of the high of the day, and if that is resistance and it's going to pause, I'm not going to let this thing fall all the way back down. So we got it locked at a 2R move. Let's see if we get ready to take this off the table. Which way are you going to go? It's either going to pop to the high of day or it's going to drop under the whole number here in a minute. It's just holding too tight. There we go. There we go. There we go, Danny. All right, into the high of the day. We sell a little bit more. That's how we roll, baby. That's how we roll. And now we just trail. Now we got a free ride going now. Right? We've hit all kinds of targets on this thing, and now we just take a shot. Okay, so the whole number is locked. We've sold into the 2R range, sold a little bit above 2Rs, and we got 2Rs locked in. And we'll just see. Maybe we're going to catch a run here. You know, it's having a great day. The day is bullish on the daily. Everything looks good. We could take a quick look at the weekly. Ribby on the weekly. Monthly, we got all the way to the monthly, and the prior tail high in the monthly was 218.77, so we're past that. So there's really nothing there. So we just let this thing go, right? We just let it ride a little bit. Now I'm not going to give this back too much, right? Like I gotta be somewhat sensible. I want to let it ride, but I'm not going to watch another. Remember, the risk was 30 initially, and we are now 45 cents through the high of the day. That's another full gain. So I'm going to start trailing this now. So I'm going to lock in 25. Okay, I'm going to lock in the quarter mark, which was the prior high. So it's effectively locking in that additional move, right? Another 30 cents of profit. It is past 11:15, so I'm getting ready to finish the morning off here. But if we can make this rally to 221, I'll try to keep it on a 25-cent trail, but I'm content to take this off the table right here underneath the quarter mark if it drops down there. So yes, this is not a loose trail, right? I'm not doing pivot trails right now. I'm not doing 8MA trails. I'm doing locking my day in, putting the comma on the board kind of a trail, right? Hitting beautiful target. There's another possible ribby. Now, if you want to get cute here, you want to get aggressive. If this trades over 50, we'll add. Okay, this gets over 50, we'll add to it, basically using 25 as the break-even mark. Remember, our cost is way down there at 39 on the fill. So I can add a little bit here and drive that cost up to the whole number and still have the stop at 25 and lock in a 25-cent profit, which is about the initial R. So there we go. So we'll do a little add here. Okay, and we'll drive the cost up, and we'll see if we can catch a ride on the break of the high. So we'll add back. Our stop is still going to be at 25, right? But we got a chance to capitalize on this trade just a little bit more. Because again, there's no resistance. Maybe we can make it to 221. So now if I get stopped out, I'm going to have a little bit more shares on here. And as we're riding up to 221, if we get halfway there, then I'll sell some shares off, right? We just add it back, catch another 25 cents. I'll sell those shares off, put more profit in the bank, and then raise the stop up again and try to trail us to 221. So remember, if we come down to 2.25, guys, it's not a stop for a loss. It's still a stop for profit. So even though we added back, we didn't drive our cost all the way to 25, right? I left a cushion so that if it does stop out, I'm not losing the profit. I'm still making money, right? But I have a shot at making more money if it does keep riding. I want to have some more shares back on. But because it's high of day, right? It's a little poke through high of day. Time of day is not great for this, right? It's early lunch. This thing could fizzle out a little bit. Could look, we're how many bars up on the 5 and we just tested the high. So could we see a little pullback here towards 220? Yeah, without question. Could we see a pullback to retest the whole number? Yeah, without question. So if we got lucky and caught the momentum move here, that's going to take us all the way to 221 or higher. Good for us. If we didn't, it's still a great little trade before lunch. And we just lock it in. So 2.25, we're out with the last bit of profit. And if it gets to 270-ish, 275, we'll sell again, raise the stop to 50 and go for 221. I'm just kind of keep repeating this little process. But the other thing is we're in good shape here on the day. This trade plus the VRX trade, this is in I basically have the day locked in here where the comma's going up. Now it's just a question of how much more is going to go up. So even with those early stops, it's still going to work. And this is typical of how a day goes, where you don't get them all right. It's just about curtailing those early losses and just realizing that something's not working as fast as you can realize. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go, baby. Oh, Danny. I didn't get any fills. You believe that? You believe that nonsense? That is rude right there. That is rude. That's awful. Now, let's see what's going to happen. Normally, I would tell you if it was your initial target and you didn't get your fills, just hit the bid, take your profit. Because this is, secondary ads and we're not going to lose any on the trade, I'm going to give it another shot here. We got the stop in place for protecting profit. That thing spiked up there, just hit a couple of offers, threw mine out, and just instantly started to dive back on the bids, and the offers all jumped each other, and the bid drop. That was just plain rude. Right in the middle of my lesson, it does that to me. You believe that nonsense? And you see what's happening on this 5-minute, right? What's starting to form is that narrow bar look. The low of that bar is 32. So our stop at 25 is going to be pretty sound when this 5-minute bar closes in about 10 seconds. It's going to be a sound stop on a 5-minute bar by bar anyway. Oh, that's 32. All right, so that bar closed. Yeah, and I should have got some of that fill up there. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to take off what I should have got on that spike now, in case we don't get it again, and then let the rest stop out underneath. Which is really what I should have done here. I was talking. Normally, when I don't get that fill, I will instantly hit it, but I was kind of focused too much on explaining and missed that. It fell pretty fast, and I didn't hit the thing. So rightfully, I should take it out. So I will take the shares off that I should have up there in the mid-70s. And we will let the rest stop out at 25. It also locks in my locks in the gram for the day, no matter what. And the slippage, even if there's slippage on that last bid, I'm still going to put a couple $100 on top of it. So we're in good shape, and we can even take advantage of that one more time. Let's say that this does not stop out here, which I got a good feeling it's going to come underneath this low, which 32. As soon as it does that, we'll take our cue to leave. If it doesn't do that, if we get really lucky and it holds here and it breaks that high again, then we'll hit it up over the high and then sell it back right into the whole number. We'll try to grab that extra 25 cents at the top here. Right, because that looks like a short, right? It looks like a lot of people are going to short this right now. They're going to bet that this new high is going to fail. They're going to bet that this is going to pull back to 220, maybe even 219. They're going to take a shot off that narrow bar right there, and they're going to short. Okay, which is why if it comes under that low, we are going to get out. We're not going to fight. Spread's widening up a little bit here too, which is not a great sign. But if it doesn't, if it holds on, and the market here is trying to put in a little bit of a ribby play, right? Financials are doing well right now, a little bit of strength in them. So if that does hold on, we'll do that one more time. Because remember, we have room. I can add back, still keep the costs under the stop area, and still keep our average price under the stop if we do add back. Never want to drive your cost past your stop. All right, which way you going, Goldie? Just don't go sideways on us here. I don't want to sit here for 20 minutes on a sideways move for lunch. I don't want to get stopped out and book this thing done, or let's make the little run here. Let's not go sideways. Here we go, coming down, coming down, coming down. No, no, held on by a thread here. There we go. There we go. Okay, done. All right, boys and girls. So that wraps up. That wraps up our session. Now, what did this look like here? So you had a ribby here on the 2, right? That would have showed up on our play on our 1. So you can go back and look at the different time frames. I was more trying to show you the fills on the 1 than actually playing that, and then showing you how I trail with price and all that. You can look at it on the 1-minute chart or the 2-minute or the 5, and you can go back and look at all those entries and what did it look technically, because I'm trading using the chart, and hopefully you understood my process. Right? I was using the chart and then trading the price action after that and trailing it based on risk reward, what have you, not necessarily getting too hung up on what the chart was doing, more about managing my trade the way I like to manage them. So hopefully that was helpful for you. But yeah, overall, pretty solid trade, I thought. End of the day, well, here's what we got for our day. Remember, the Lulu trade wasn't working. We cut it quick. Hal did not work. We took that loss without question. BRX caught it on a nice short plus another add, then tried the long, took a scratch on that, and then Goldie here paid us really, really well. So I think overall this is a pretty good lesson for you guys to watch and see. A couple of those trades early didn't do much, didn't work, but because I didn't let them get really big to the downside, these 2 winners mattered. Right, and that's the name of the game as far as I'm concerned, and that's what I always preach to you. Right, these 2 trades could have been washed out if I let Hal and Lulu just hang around and put up $300, $400, $500 losses. Then these 2 wins do nothing for me. Right, does nothing. So was I right a lot today? No, I was right when I needed to be. I stayed right. When I was right, I stayed right. When I was wrong, I didn't stay wrong. That's the difference, right? Novice traders want to stay wrong and hold on and hope to be right. Professionals say, no, I'm wrong, I'm out. See ya. Right? Look what Lulu did. See this? This is what happens. You hold on and you hold on and you hold on, then you finally get stopped out underneath this bar. You take this whole big loss for no reason. Right? It wasn't working. Get out for fractions of the pennies. Right? And then you say, yeah, but Hal worked. Look, you got out of Hal and Hal worked. Okay, but what about when it doesn't? Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can either have small losses, get dinged out and move on, or you can constantly try to play the game of perfection that you're going to be in every trade at the exact right moment and never take a loss. And all that's going to lead to is holding losses and taking big hits. So accept the fact that you're not going to get them all in the perfect time. I did not time Hal just right. Here it is, back here, right? Did the move happen? Yes. Did I get it right? No. So what? So what? Look what I did after that. I didn't lose sleep over it. I didn't cry about it. Oh my God, I can't believe hell's going without. Who cares? I went out and found new trades with the similar risk reward ratios that I like, better patterns, and I put up money, right? First 2 trades of the day were losses. So what? Move on. Get over it. Go find some money. Go make some money. Right? And it wasn't even in the prime session. This was from 10:30 to 11:15, which is not my favorite time of the day. The first hour is better for me, but I was still able to kind of find trades that made sense, good solid risk rewards, good patterns, good strategies, and executed it without hesitation. So when you're wrong, you move on. When you're right, you stay right. You hit up your winners, right? Added to VRX. As soon as I got in it, it went my way, added, made more than I should have on a 1-to-1 because we doubled up on the sides. Goldman Sachs went my way, hit targets, added back, hit more targets, right? Added again, and then got stopped out with profit. So when I'm right, stay right, hit it up. When you're wrong, get the hell out, stop holding losses. All right, hopefully this was a helpful little session. You got any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. And we'll see you guys next time. All right, take care.